Welcome to Carleton's Math Corner. Today we're going to continue our study of percents. So let's start off with, of course, something to make you smile because learning is fun. And make sure that you have your math journal as well as your vocabulary packet out. Our target today is I can write fractions as percents. A fraction is a part out of a whole. Well, a percent is also a part out of a whole amount. For instance, 40% is 40 of these little squares out of 100 squares. A percent is always out of 100. 100 out of 100 would be one whole amount. So what we're going to be doing today is taking this fraction and changing it to a percent. And to help us out, we're going to be using these little boxes. And these boxes are for us to organize our information. So in the first box, we are going to organize our fraction. We're going to put our part on top, or our numerator, and then put our denominator or our whole on the bottom. On the other side, we're going to have our percent, and the percent, same thing. We're going to have the part on top, which we don't know yet because that's actually what we're going to find. And then a percent's out of 100, so we're going to put the whole amount on the bottom. And so what we're going to do is we are going to use our knowledge on how to change a fraction to a decimal. And remember the line that's underneath a fraction, or in between a fraction, or in between the numerator and the denominator. Remember that line is kind of informing us that it's a division problem. And so this line in this box is division. And so we're taking 7 divided by 8 to change the fraction to a decimal. And then we need to do something with this 100 over here because a percent is out of 100. And so when we cross over this middle line is going to tell us that we need to multiply by 100. And so we're going to take 7 divided by 8, which is, let's get our trusty calculator out. Okay, so 7 divided by 8 is 0.875. And then we're going to cross over the line, so we're going to multiply by 100. And so we get an answer of 87.5. And we're going to add a percent sign because it's 87.5%. And what I want you to notice is from our decimal to our percent, what happened to the decimal point? Yeah, you're right. The decimal point moved 2 places to the right because we are multiplying by 100. And how many tens do we need to multiply together to get to 100? Or how many zeros does 100 have? 2. And so that is why we are moving our decimal point to the right 2 places, because really we're moving 2 place values, okay, which are kind of worth a power of 10. And so our answer is 87.5%. And so if you look at this box, notice 7/8 is equivalent to 87.5 out of 100%. Okay, and so let's use our steps to do another problem. How about 4/5? If I want to change this fraction to a percent, what do I do again with this box? Okay, so start off with the 4/5. What do I need to change that to? Yes, a decimal. So let's take 4 divided by 5 to change it to a decimal, and I get 0.8. This 0 in front is not changing my number. I can keep the 0, or I can take it off the problem. And so it's just 0.8 or 8/10. And then what do we need to do with this 100 over here in this box? Correct, times 100. And so the answer is 80%. So let's add that in here as our answer, 80%. Then our next one is 9/7. Now, we can use this box even if our numerator is bigger than our denominator. And this is called an improper fraction. And so, and let me write that, improper fraction. And so the numerator is greater than the denominator. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use this line again, 9 divided by 7, to change it to a decimal. And then we're going to cross over to 100, so we're going to multiply by 100. And notice what percent we have. 128 point. And there is a repeating pattern here. 571428. 571428. 574128. Is that correct? 574, whoops, 14. I said it correctly, but I wrote it incorrectly. There we go. And what I need is to make sure that I have a line, and I'm going to bring up, I actually already created one, but I need to make sure that I have a Repetend sign over that to show that there is a pattern. So I'm going to put that over that. Perfect. And this is my answer. And I am going to add a percent sign because 9/7 is equivalent to this percent. Now today for your ticket problems, will you please do the following 4 problems? Change the fractions to a percent. Thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again.